How's it going today, guys? Welcome to the 20th episode of the DailyC show. Yesterday I said the 20th, but it was actually the 19th. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about how to make it to the NHL, and we're going to talk about the actual how to play in different leagues and what leagues are going to help you get to the NHL the most effective way. This is for players who are seriously going after that NHL dream, just like me, and who want a little bit of advice on what I think, and you're going to get the honest opinion. So I'm not going to try to hold too much back here. I want to be as genuine as I can. I apologize if I hurt anybody's feelings with this, but this is me being straight up because I want to help and I want to provide value. I don't just want to lie, and I don't just want to provide you guys with what you want to hear. I want to provide you guys with what you need to hear. Let's get started. So let's cut right to it. You want to make the NHL, so do I. How are we going to do it? Well, there's a lot of different opinions here. Everybody's got some different ideas, and people are going to disagree with me. But what I want you to realize is that there's definitely some clear-cut things that you need to do in order to make the highest level possible, which is definitely the NHL. And what that is you need to develop. So you obviously need to develop your skills. What people forget, and this is going more to the minor hockey players, is that everybody thinks that they need to be playing AAA at a young age. You don't. What you need to be doing is you need to be playing in a place where it's going to be improving your skill set the most possible. So you need to develop your skills, and you need to develop your in-game skills, so your mental skills, your ability to see the ice well, your ability to make passes, play defense. You need to improve all of these things, because as you move up and as you start getting towards junior, that's when you want to kind of hit that AAA level, anywhere around midget, pretty much around bantam. That's when you want to start hitting AAA level. You can play AAA all the way through. Nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. I played AAA pretty much every year leading up. But what I think people get caught up in is if things aren't going perfectly in AAA in minor hockey, it's not the end of the world. Everybody thinks that if you're not playing AAA when you're in Adam, your whole career is over and you're not going anywhere. It's not true. You need to play where you're going to get the opportunity to be on the ice and get the most development. So take that seriously. Seriously think about if you're in AAA but you're not playing enough, you're sitting on that third line, consider the possibility of dropping down a level and getting that extra amount of ice time to improve, to get to be a leader. That's how I learned a lot of this stuff about leadership. Is I was able to drop down to my AA team 1 year after getting shoulder surgery, and I had to learn a lot about leadership because I was able to be the captain that year. I helped lead us to coming second in all of Ontario, won our league, won our playoffs. It was an amazing year, and I learned so much, and I'm so grateful for having that opportunity. So keep that in mind. Now, as we get to junior, here's where things start to get interesting. Here's where things start to get important. Actually, let's backtrack. Before we get to junior, minor midget, and midget for that matter. Everybody thinks that in minor midget, if you don't get drafted to the OHL, WHL, QMJHL, any of the major junior A leagues, everybody thinks, oh, it's over. It's over. My career's done. It's not. It's not even close to done. There's so much more hockey to be played and so much development to happen in that time. Some guys who are smaller guys, more like me, they don't necessarily develop right away. So for me, I was really skinny when I was in minor midget. Still pretty skinny now, but I was super skinny before. I was sitting at like 125 pounds. Now I'm at like closer to 170. And just craziness, right? Like so light. I think I was 5'7" at the time. I'm 5'10", so I grew 3 inches, put on a lot of pounds in that time. So I didn't get drafted. I think I was a bubble guy. Like I was like a little bit off. Like I almost had a shot, but you know what? Didn't really play too much in minor midget. I don't think I got to really show myself very much. So again, didn't get drafted. Did that even kind of affect me? At the time, maybe. I let it slip in a little bit, but did it really affect my career? Absolutely not. because what I did the next year, I went to junior C. Now, you get to pick when you go to major midget, whether you want to go junior C or whether you want to slip into major midget. Now, there's not a right or wrong here. I'll just give my opinion on this. I think junior C is a really good option for guys who want to expose themselves to really strong older players and want to kind of get that chance to really challenge themselves against these strong guys who can kind of push you around when you're 16. Now, if you're going to go to a top junior C team, you're going to risk a lot because you might sit on the bench. But if you go to a lower level junior C team, you're going to get to play a lot like I did. I put up like a point a game as a 16-year-old and got tons and tons and tons of development because I got to be first line center. It was a huge year for me that way. What that allowed me to do is transition into junior B the following year. And this is where I think things are definitely interesting. So when you're in junior, what you need to realize again is that you don't want to go to a team where you know you're never going to play. So like if you're definitely not a good enough player when you're 16, I guess when you're younger is the key. So when you're 16, you definitely don't want to go to a team where you are going to be like the lowest line, like 100%. There's no way you can crack them any higher. Again, people believe different things. I think sometimes it's good to pay your dues, so it's good to go to a team, grind it out for that first year, and then get the opportunity the next year. But I just think it's a great opportunity to develop at a little bit lower level and then make that jump the next year. Then step in and have the skill set to be able to handle that role you want to be at even better than if you had sat on the bench the whole year prior at that higher level. So not a right or wrong, but just keep that in mind. When you're young, don't be afraid to utilize that 16-year-old year to develop, whether that's major midget, whether that's junior C, whatever it is, junior B, if you're on the bubble for OHL or WHL, keep that in mind. And also tier 2. That's kind of an interesting thing as well. So if your goal is to play Division 1 like me, and you're planning on going the college route, then you're going to want to, you can't play in the OHL or any of the junior A leagues. You can only play tier 2 as the highest. If your goal is to play and get that scholarship, what you need to do, you need to find a tier 2 team. So speaking as a guy who played junior B and played it through, I wouldn't say there's nothing wrong with junior B. I had so much fun in that league. I learned so much from coaches, from teammates, from everybody. But I just think that if your goal is to try to get that scholarship, I just think that you're going to get a little more exposure if you want to, if you can go to tier 2. I think junior B is a very, very good league. And again, I say I think because I don't know for sure, but just in my experience from what I've seen, I think that there's a little bit more opportunity in tier 2. So don't be afraid to make that jump, but at the same time, if you're in B and you can play really well, have a great season and light it up there, you will get commitments. So D3, D1, there's guys committing consistently out of there. So don't think that just because you're playing B, you're out of the loop and you're not going to be able to make that step, because you totally can. I just think for some guys, it's a good opportunity to try to make that jump to that tier 2 if you can. So that's what I'm going to do, and feel free to do it yourself. But again, I'm not trying to push anybody to do something they don't want to do. So make your own decisions, but keep both in mind. Now, as you kind of get into that tier 2, you need to be a top player in whatever league you're in if you want to get that Division 1. If you get trying to go for Division 3, you need to be a very strong player as well, and you need to show that you have good grades, you're a hardworking guy, and you got to be a character guy, because those schools, they're looking for those kind of people. They're looking for good people who can come in, help them win, but also do well in school, because you're not getting an academic scholarship, or you're not getting a sports scholarship, so you're not getting paid to play hockey necessarily. You're not getting a free scholarship to play hockey. You're getting academic, so whatever your grades are going to give you whatever you get off school. So it might end up being a lot more expensive if you go the D3 route. But again, unbelievable hockey. That's that's a lie. I haven't been into any D3 games, but from everything I've heard from so many people, it is the top D3 leagues, or top D3 teams are very competitive with the bottom D1 teams. So don't ever think if you don't get D1 offers that you're done, because D3 is totally an option. It's a great option if you can afford it financially. Now, in addition, I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. You also want to keep in mind that there is the opportunity to play pro. Now, there's a ton of pro. So there's the ECHL, which is one below the AHL, so the East Coast Hockey League, and that is very, very good hockey. There's a ton of good players, and there are a lot of guys from D1 and stuff go there. But you can crack that lineup out of junior if you're a top guy. There's an option to play Senior A, so you can improve in Senior A after junior and make that jump, make those levels up, and then go for more of a higher level pro. Senior A is a little bit different. It's not quite as high level, but again, still really good hockey. Used to watch it as a kid all the time. You got tons of options. You have of course you have AHL as well. That's ridiculously high level hockey. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to necessarily make that jump right out of junior, but you could. You might be able to make it. You never really know. So don't ever leave anything off the table, and don't let your mind kind of limit you. Maintain that limitless mindset that anything can happen. Any kind of development could happen. You can meet the right coach at the right time. You can meet an elite NHL level skills coach, somebody like Jason Yee, somebody like who I believe I'm becoming. You meet that right person, and boom, something clicks. You make that 10x improvement, and all of a sudden you went from the projection of headed here, where you're kind of headed to just kind of maybe low-level pro, or maybe you're going to play Senior A, or maybe you weren't even going to play at all. And now you change your projection here from this angle to this angle because you make that little pivot right here. So going from here to here, boom. Now you're at that AHL, NHL, whatever pro league. Now, that is super, super possible, so don't ever rule anything out. But also realize there's European options. So you got the options of, there's tons of different places all around. So you got the DEL, so the DEL 1, DEL 2, and this is in Germany. And all of these countries have so many pro leagues. So you have to realize that if you just send out a tape to one of the lower level teams, you can make a lower level division in one of those countries, in Finland, in Sweden, in Britain, in Germany. Like Australia has a league as well. So keep that in mind. Don't forget this stuff, right? Don't let somebody telling you hockey's done for you be the reason you stop. Realize that you totally have the opportunity to go play in Europe, and you totally can make it work. So do not quit, and realize those are possibilities. Send out a video to one of those people. Start Googling. I mean, I don't have all the answers, so actually that's a lie. I think I have most of the answers, and if not, I will learn it and I will help you guys with it. But regardless of the fact, keep that in mind. So go out and start researching, start looking for teams out there. If you're interested in continuing to play, don't let the excuse of saying your career is done because you don't have any options be the reason you stop, because it's not. You're the reason you stopped because you didn't want to do it anymore. So start researching, see what happens, and keep pushing. Don't ever make excuses for yourself, and that is how I think you can make the NHL. Well, let me go a little deeper. After you play in those pro leagues, that's when the steps can happen, right? So after you get to one of those pro leagues, you can work your way up. Say you make it into that DEL 1 league. Now you have an amazing year there, and an NHL scout finds out about you, and boom, put you on an AHL team, give you a shot there, you light it up, boom, NHL. Maybe you would light it up in the NHL, boom, working it up. Maybe you become an NHL star just because you didn't quit. You never know how that projection could happen. If your projection's on a linear kind of flat thing or just a slow progression, you meet that right person at the right time or learn that right thing at the right time, and boom, progression changes, and you 10x, you shoot through the roof, and your career becomes everything you dreamed it could be. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for watching the DailyC show. Make sure to subscribe, like, and just know that I really, really appreciate you guys. I absolutely love you guys for watching this, and I can't believe you guys are still watching to the end here. It means so much to me that you guys are willing to allow me to talk to you for this long and you feel that I'm providing you with enough value to continue to listen to me. So please continue to ask questions and continue to ask for different things for me to talk about in these DailyC shows. I want to continue to make great episodes for you guys for a very long time, and I want to continue to share my journey with you guys on Instagram and also on YouTube with the vlogs, and just continue to crush it every single day and enjoy every single day. I'm absolutely loving it here in Vancouver. It's been a lot of fun so far, and thank you guys. I love you.